Hey, it's Mark Ferguson with Invest for More, and welcome to another one of our real estate investing videos. Today, we're talking about how we saved money repairing this house flip. So I am in a house flip that we've been working on for a little bit. It's almost done, not quite done. Just a few little things to do. But I'm going to talk about how we save money on repairs, why we did some things, not others, and how your market really affects or impacts what you should or should not do. All right, of course, check out investformore.com for much more information on our flips, rentals, being an agent, wholesaling, all kinds of advice. We have 9 books on Amazon if you want more in-depth information. And if you're wondering why I'm not outside, is because there's crazy amounts of construction and noise and construction guys looking at me weird if I shoot my video outside. So we'll do it from in here, and we'll get started right now talking about why we did this and why we didn't do that. So here is the outside of the house. And one thing you'll notice is we left the old hot water gas registers out here. And that just saves us so money by just leaving trash in the yard. It's unbelievable. No, we're going to get rid of those, don't worry. But you will see the yard is not in amazing shape. And we did clean it up, but we're not putting sod in, we're not putting grass in because we don't have to. For one thing, although it's 70 degrees outside, it's November in Colorado, and it will probably snow in the next few days. So grass won't grow very well this time of year. So what we will do is clean it up and let the new owners worry about the yard. And we do that a lot. People complain all the time about us not putting yards in. But the truth is our houses still sell. They still sell for just about as much as they would with yards. So while it doesn't look as pretty and you hear all the time curb appeal is everything, we've done just fine not doing yards. So that's how we do it. Once in a while if the yard's really bad, or if it's just a front yard and we can do it pretty cheap, we'll do it. But for the most part, we don't. And one big reason is because homeowners think, hey, I can redo a yard myself. That's not hard work. I can lay seed or put sod down. It's not a deal killer. Whereas if all the windows are 50 years old, they're more like, I'm not sure I know how to replace a window. And I've replaced windows myself, and it's not always fun. So we do the big major things on the house, and then a lot of times we won't do every single little detail because it takes time, money, and when we're doing 10 to 20 flips at once, it just doesn't make sense to keep doing every little thing and take weeks and weeks and weeks longer. So that's our reasoning for the yard. Something else in here, how we saved money, is you can see we have carpet. Now, a lot of people say, oh, you can't do carpet nowadays. Everybody hates carpet. And some people do. Some people hate it. Some people don't. A lot of people do not mind carpet. And we don't always use it. And the travesty about us using carpet here is there's hardwood underneath it. And there's hardwood in the bedrooms. But this hardwood is not in good shape. It doesn't run all the way under the tile or even to the tile. We'd have to spend a lot of money making it look good, replacing pieces, tying into it. Who knows if it would even look right. So for probably half the cost, we can put this carpet in instead, and the house will still sell. So that's a reoccurring theme of this video. The house will still sell even though we aren't making it perfect. And so that's something else to consider too, is what neighborhood are you in, right? We're in a neighborhood where this is one of the bigger houses around. I don't know if it had an addition or they just built it bigger from the very beginning. It's a large house. The houses across the street, down the road, almost all of them are quite a bit smaller. So this house will be priced at the top of the market, which means if we keep doing more and more and more work and make the house more and more and more expensive, there's a much greater chance it won't sell for much more than the top of the market it's at right now. Like it just can't keep climbing. There's a ceiling to the neighborhood of what a house will sell for. And you have to be very cognizant of that ceiling and where you're at. And plus you'll run into appraisal problems, right? If every other house is $250,000 and you're trying to sell your house for $300,000, the appraiser's gonna be like, hey, I can't justify this price, even though your house is bigger and nicer. I'm coming in at $270,000. So a lot of things you have to consider. This house we bought for $195,000. And we're gonna be trying to sell it probably for around $285 to $295 in that price range. And that will be the very, very top of the market. We're in Greeley, Colorado, if you're wondering where we're at. So that being at the top of the market helps us determine what to repair, how much to spend. You know, if we're at a $500,000 neighborhood, obviously you probably don't want cheap fireworks carpet from Home Depot, but here it's okay. We did replace the windows. So they were old windows. They had to be done, but you can see, right? JELD-WIN, that's a Home Depot window. And we can probably install that window with materials and everything for $300. You can go to Andersen Windows or some of these other fancy window places, Pella, and you can spend $1,000 on that one window. And guess what? It won't be that much better. If you look at the ratings on, I think some United States federal government site has window ratings, and you know what? The difference between these newer double pane windows and the old aluminum windows is huge, the old single pane windows. Like, you will save hundreds and hundreds of dollars a year in energy costs. But the difference between this window and an Andersen window or triple pane or low E is literally like $20 to $30 a year for the whole house. So you have very little savings by using those expensive windows. Buyers don't care, right? They almost never care what kind of window is in there. It's like, hey, these are fancy Andersen windows. That's cool. What does that mean? Well, they're fancy. Okay, great. I mean, it really, like, a lot of people who have those fancy windows think it's an amazing selling point, and I think that's because the window company tells them how amazing of a selling point it is, but in reality, it's not. So I'm sorry, I apologize to people who spent the money on those windows, but they really don't add that much value. And if you look at the reviews of Andersen online, they are not that good. So I know quite a few people have had to replace their Andersen windows a lot sooner than they thought. Way to save money, windows. Don't buy the super expensive windows. You don't have to spend $20,000 to replace your windows. Again, there's hardwood under here too, but just really bad shape, and it just wasn't worth fixing it. All right, how else did we save money? This is one spot. You know, it's always again, we don't clean houses. That's when no, just kidding. We do clean the houses. This one's not clean yet, obviously. Bathrooms, right? We put in this vanity, the mirror, the light fixture, which I don't know who picked that. Nikki said she didn't, but it's okay. But, you know, LVT flooring, very affordable. This vanity is very affordable at Home Depot, probably $100, $150 for the whole thing, maybe. And then something else we did here, which a lot of people hate, and be like, oh my God, why did you do that? We didn't replace the tile. Oh, can you believe that? We are such cheapskates. And we'll get it cleaned up. The cleaner will come in here and hopefully make it look okay. But the tile's in good shape. It's not rotten, they're not broken, they're not destroyed. The tub is pretty ugly, but we'll clean that up too. And that saves us literally a couple $1,000 at least not doing all of that tile, that tub. That's a really expensive job. And you know, sometimes we'll put bass surrounds in, like the one-piece surround, which saves us money as well. But there's a big old window right there in the way, so that won't work out very well. And then obviously we do need to frost that window. It should have come that way, but as you can see, if you're taking a shower, your neighbor has a pretty good view. Ways we save money continued. Doors, we did put in new doors. A lot of times, ooh, look at that. Oh, that, you know why they did that? Because that wall is right there and that handle won't fit. That's interesting. I did not see that yet. Learn something new every day. Anyway, that's how we save money. We only use half a door handle. So, we do try to save doors if we can, if they're in decent shape, they're not broken. Depending on the area, we'll try and save them. But these were really bad. They were broken, so we did replace them. Something else I'm sure a lot of you have picked up on are the baseboard heat. It's hot water heat. So the baseboard's registers were super ugly, really, really ugly. We did replace those. And you can see the other ones were much taller than these. So this was Nikki's idea. I give her credit for this. Or maybe I don't give her credit for it, depending on what people think of this idea. We'll see. what if we just put some trim right above the baseboard registers instead of spending all the time putting in new sheetrock, texturing, painting, and it still looks kind of weird. So we're gonna try that. We'll see how that looks. We're not sure yet, but that's what we're trying for the moment. Other ways we save money. We use 70-year-old thermostats. No, that should be replaced. That's something that's pretty easy to do. Should be pretty cheap to put in a newer thermostat that works better, looks better. So we, if you can do something cheap like that that saves money or makes the house look better, yes, we do it. But like the yard, it's not cheap. Yeah. This tile, right? We did not take this tile out. We are leaving it. Does it look kind of weird in here? I think it looks amazing. So we're just gonna go with that. That would be super expensive to pull all this tile up. Fix the floor. It's probably gonna tear the subfloor up. Who knows, maybe not. But we left it because again, this price range, you don't have to be perfect. Again, reoccurring theme. The kitchen. I keep saying this, our appliances are running behind. It's really annoying because of coronavirus, but eventually we'll have appliances. This kitchen might look brand new, but it's not. And I apologize for having the lights off because we also turn the electricity off when we work on them to save money. No, that's another horrible joke. For some reason, the two lights in the back of the house aren't working. But these cabinets were all here. They were all here. They were all different colors, different styles. We did not come through and replace them all. We painted them. So we just painted them all that gray color, put in the Home Depot laminate counter, a little backsplash right there, boom. You've got yourself a kitchen that looks much better than any other house in this neighborhood, and we didn't have to spend a ton of money doing it. Right here, you don't have cabinets. What do we do? Put in some shelves. There you go. So another great way to save money. If your cabinets can be painted, if you can save them, if they're not that bad looking, you don't have to spend a ton of money on a new kitchen. And when we do redo a kitchen, we aren't spending 20 grand. Oh, okay, see, that's not good. We have two different kind of pulls. That's annoying. All right. We can go to Home Depot, buy shaker cabinets for $2,000 or $3,000 for a kitchen this size. Again, laminate counters. We don't need granite. We don't have to spend that money, so why do it? I have a whole other video on how much it costs to remodel a kitchen that I'll try to remember to link to as well. In here, that looks kind of bad, but your washer is going to cover it up. Your dryer is going to cover it up. So we'll probably leave it in here. Nothing fancy, little easy vanity mirror, nothing crazy going on here. Downstairs, again, we could put fancy wood laminate down here. Not fancy. I don't think wood laminate and fancy is used too often, but we could put wood laminate here that looks slightly better than carpet. We don't have to. And we're also in Colorado, so that's something else to consider, is where you live decides how you should remodel and design your house too, right? If we're in Florida, you probably don't want carpet everywhere because of the moisture, the sand, the different climate. In Colorado, people like carpet, not everywhere, but in the bedrooms, a lot of times people like carpet because it's warmer, it's not cold, it's more comfortable. I have carpet in my bedroom, in my house. I like it. I'd much rather have that than hardwood floors. Here's something else that we could have done down here, right? This is being used as a bedroom before, even though there's no closet and technically it's not a bedroom. But when this house was first built, you can see the heat register goes through the wall, the light switch is right there. This wall was added, right? It used to just open up into this room right here. Boom, had a nice open room. We could do that. But hey, we're tearing out this wall, we're tearing out this door, we're fixing all this. We're making a nice family room again. Nope, don't need to. It's cheaper just to leave it as it is and just go from there. All right, moving on into this room. The laundry room. Where to start? The ceiling, right? Some people be like, hey, you have to finish that ceiling. Look how ugly it is. Nope, we don't. We can leave it like this. It's a utility room. It'll be just fine. I think we did paint the walls. We painted the floor to spruce it up a little bit. That's all we needed to do. We did replace the water heater, again, to save money. Just leave this one here. You don't need to take it with you. Again, that was a bad joke. We will pick this up and get that out of here. This is one that could worry a lot of people too. The boiler for the hot water heat system. It's so ugly, but we had it checked out. It's running like a champ. These things run forever if they're maintained well. And so we're gonna leave it. We're not gonna replace it. We'll tell people it's been all checked out, it's good to go, and that's what we'll do. So don't need to go crazy fixing that up. You know, here, I know people who will say, oh, look at that seam in the ceiling, and it's just flat texture with horrible paint tape job. That's ought to all be redone, textured. Oh, maybe it's paneling. We got to re-sheetrock it. Look at this. This is paneling right here. This isn't sheetrock. Got to redo it. Nope, sure don't. At least we won't. Someone else might, but we don't need to. A lot of people get caught up in trying to make a house be perfect, be exactly how they would want it when they live in it. And that's how you don't make money in this business. We want to make things nice, decent, but don't have to go overboard. Again, in here, this ceiling, like, you know, it's not very pretty. In fact, that, you might need to fix that a little bit. That's pretty ugly. These lights aren't very pretty, but they work, and it's got a weird drop-down ceiling, so we have to redo the whole thing to change it and make it look better. We replaced the broken window, yes, but this whole ceiling doesn't need to be done. That will be fixed. They had to get in there to do some work, so we will fix that. And then back here, is your closet for the other room, right? Nothing fancy, closet. You know what? We didn't replace that window because it wasn't broken. Again, another way to save money, that basement window probably is not going to affect the price of this house or the sale of it, so we did not replace it. Down here, you can see that baseboard heat register we did not replace either, and I don't think we did in that other room, the one I just showed you. Those are the original ones. They look okay, so we're leaving those. We're just replacing the ones that are bad, ugly, broken. All right, so I think that's a long enough video for this house and talking about all the things we do and don't do. I probably missed a bunch of stuff. If you have questions, leave them below. I'll do my best to answer them. But there's so many ways you can save money and still make a house nice and decent without going crazy. And a lot of people tell me, oh, I'd never buy a house from a flipper. They're so cheap. They use cheap materials. They don't go, use custom features. And you know what? That's true. You know what else is true? So do home builders, right? When home builders are building new houses, unless you're building a custom house, which very few houses are, most of them are tract homes, spec homes that are built by big builders, they do the exact same thing because they also are in business to make money, right? They don't make houses fancy. They don't put in extra fancy light fixtures or extra fancy doors. Heck, some of them don't even put in light fixtures. They charge you extra for them. They don't put in yards, right? Some of them might put in a front yard. They don't put in backyards. They don't put in fences. They don't put in AC. They don't put in a fridge. Another way we save money, big one. We don't put a fridge in our houses. So many ways to save money. And the builders do the same thing. Those are big corporations that have learned how to do things. And guess what? People still buy new houses. They love buying new houses. And they're almost excited to pay all that extra money for the AC, the yard, the fence, the curtains, everything else. And it doesn't bother them. So house flippers aren't bad because they don't do all those things. That's just the reality of the business. And this house is so much better now than it was when we bought it. So we're still improving things and helping the economy a lot as well. All right, we are in the basement to finish up this video. Don't do that very often. There's no real good murder rooms in here, but there's that murder crawl space, which is this direction as I walk backwards and try to run into a wall, maybe. All right, backing up. Now, you may have noticed a strange cut in the video right there. It's not because I ran to the wall and fell over, which I know some of you were hoping for. It's because I'm a very smart videographer person, and my battery ran out on my fancy new camera, but I had extra batteries with me, so I had to go change it. So anyway, here's our sort of murder room that you probably can't see much of. And it's really not a good murder room because it's all water vapor barriered and really not in that bad of shape. So if you're new to the channel, the murder room comes from a lot of our house flips have horrible, nasty basement cellar rooms where people were probably murdered. That's where that came from. All right, Now we'll sign off. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. Again, check out investormore.com. We have tons of free articles on there. A free book as well that tells you how I got started in real estate that you can sign up for. And we have 9 books on Amazon if you want to buy some books, and lots of other great resources as well. Thank you for the likes, comments, follows. We appreciate those. We'll be back soon.